Just last week, chaos unfolded across the internet. Amazon's AWS, the invisible giant that powers half of the web, went dark. Banks froze mid-transaction, streaming services blinked out, and dating apps left millions ghosted. In gaming, raids collapsed, leaderboards vanished, and entire economies were halted. Over 2,000 companies scrambled. Billions of dollars were suddenly at risk, all because one centralized hub cracked under pressure. This was a wake-up call. Our digital lives dangle by a thread, and we're one outage away from a total blackout. Honestly, patching up the current system just sounds like a band-aid solution. What if we hand control to a global web of everyday machines that can't be switched off? In this video, I'll explain why DePIN is the infrastructure breakthrough you need to know about. Unlike centralized systems like AWS, it's a crowdsourced network immune to single points of failure. I'll show you how Solana makes it even faster, and then I'll reveal the one project that's already serving 2.5 million players with billions of daily actions. I'm breaking everything down for you, and I'll show you how to position yourself in this opportunity while we're still early. Before we get started, I have to say this. I'm not a financial advisor, and nothing I share here is financial advice. Crypto is very risky. Yes, you can make money, but you can also lose it all. So always do your own research and only put in what you can afford to lose. This is all for education and to help you think smarter about the crypto space. Now, let's dive in. Last week's AWS mess exposed the core flaw. Everything funnels through a few massive clouds, so one hiccup in Northern Virginia impacts services across the world. Reddit threads die mid-rant and Snapchat stories disappear. DePIN changes the game completely. People worldwide share their spare computer power, storage, or bandwidth, and they create a resilient network that no single outage can break. Everyone that contributes to the network gets rewarded in crypto. And it creates a self-sustaining system where hardware in your living room backs up a server in Tokyo. I've been talking about DePIN on this channel for years, and we're finally seeing it become one of the hottest sectors in all of crypto. In the FireHustle VIP Discord, we hunt these narratives down early, break down the thesis behind them, and discuss positioning strategies before everyone else catches on. Let's just say we've really been cooking in there. And the feedback has been great. So if you're interested in leveling up in this space, then check out the link in the description down below. There's even a dedicated section for DePIN. And going back to DePIN networks, here's the catch. Resilience means nothing if the network is slow. Traditional blockchains couldn't handle the speed that gaming demands. Until Solana changed everything. While most people associate Solana with meme coins or AI agents, it's actually the secret weapon that makes DePIN useful for real-world applications. Solana pushes through thousands of transactions per second for cheap, and that's exactly what you need when games are processing millions of player actions all at once. There's over $11 billion already locked across thousands of Solana projects, and gaming infrastructure is the next frontier. If you've played any video game, then you know that split-second decisions decide who wins, and lag ruins absolutely everything. So when it comes to gaming, DePIN isn't really optional anymore. Now it's truly a necessity. And that's where the Beamable network comes in. Beamable was created because of game developer frustration. Studios put a huge portion of their energy into back-end infrastructure instead of focusing on the storytelling or gameplay. Top mobile teams spend $22 million on average just to build these systems. And for what? Well, for their setups to rely on clouds that are so expensive and still crash during prime time. John Radoff is Beamable's founder and CEO, and he lived that cycle. He built Legends of Future Past in 1991, which was one of the earliest online RPG games. He also grew Game of Thrones Ascent and Star Trek Timelines to massive followings. Over and over, he faced the same problem and had to recode the basics from zero every single time. So John crafted the shared solution. Beamable stands at the complete backend infrastructure for online games. It can be scaled for small solo indie games or global hits with millions of players playing around the clock. Beamable handles the infra so game creators can focus on what's important. Player accounts, fair matchmaking, leaderboards, shop fronts, and more are all handled. Dashboards tracking player behavior are easy, and handling more bandwidth during peak gaming periods is automatic. You hook it in with one line of code, pair it with the gaming engine and launch. You skip the AWS headache and let Solana handle the speed and scale with almost no wait times. Beamable decentralizes its entire infrastructure through 3 types of nodes anyone can run. Router nodes match games to the right workers, and checker nodes verify everything's running honestly. When games use the network, they pay a service fee to the node doing the work, an optional priority fee for faster service, an ecosystem fee that supports the network, and a developer royalty for whoever built the tools. And all of these fees are to be paid using the Beamable token or BNB. Node operators are rewarded with these fees and can collect BNB just for keeping their infrastructure online and ready. Now here's where this gets interesting for anyone wanting to participate early. Those checker nodes I mentioned are the validators that keep the entire network honest and running smoothly. The BNB token launch is happening in November, and the network is scaling quickly, which means getting a checker node position now means you're getting rewards from day one. Beamable already has almost 2.5 million monthly users and counting, and the timing matters because early node operators historically capture the biggest share of rewards before the network gets more saturated. We saw this exact pattern with Helium, where early adopters who got in before the rush had a major advantage. The proof is already there. Beamable has handled over 214 billion API calls for over 95 live titles. There's games like Game of Thrones, FIFA Rivals, and indie hits that are scaling big on small budgets. Over 6,200 developers have signed on, and the number grows each quarter. Revenue is steady at $4 million annually, which lands them in the top 10 for Deepin projects. And here's some of their partnerships: Solana, Unity, Unreal, Sui, Polygon, Mythical, and ApeChain. When it comes to the team, they have a lot of relevant experience in the space. The CEO, John, previously took a web content management company public and launched mobile games like Game of Thrones Ascent and Star Trek Timelines. The CTO, Ali, was a founding engineer at Disruptor Beam, building the platform that served over 20 million players. And the COO, Trapper Merkles, ran Miu Health, a gamified wellness company. Together, they've raised $13.5 million from some big VC investors and were incubated by the Solana Foundation. Since then, they've been building non-stop. Here, we can see the roadmap that has 7 different phases from Q2 of this year all the way out to the end of next year. And we're still in the beginning phases. But here's what most people miss about Deepin networks. The real wealth gets created in the early infrastructure phase, not when projects hit mainstream adoption. By the time everyone's talking about it, the best positions are already claimed. Gaming is a $300 billion market that's quickly shifting to Deepin infrastructure. So the question isn't whether this is going to happen, it's whether you'll be positioned when it does. So with that being said, let's talk about actually getting involved with running a Beamable checker node. These validator nodes are digital nodes that verify network integrity and get rewards based on performance. And Helium Deploy just opened up a fresh batch for the next deployment wave. The checker node setup is straightforward with no complex configurations or technical headaches. You can either host a digital node on your own machine, or you can easily host it online through a platform like NodeOps or Nerd Nodes. You're validating game infrastructure that already serves millions of players, so there's real utility from day one. And you're getting BNB tokens as the network processes those billions of API calls. The cost to grab a node is $450 through Helium Deploy, and you can use my code FireHustle to get 10% off, bringing your total to $405. I've put the link down for you below. You'll have everything you need to deploy, and you also get a free Helium Deploy tracker license to monitor your rewards across all your Deepin projects. The setup only takes a few minutes. The timing is important because the token launch is in November, which means node operators who position now will be getting BNB tokens from the first wave of token distribution. While those 6,200 developers scale their games and new studios join, transaction volume increases, which directly impacts validator rewards. The network is already processing billions of API calls with only a fraction of gaming studios on board. So when this hits broader adoption, early node operators are positioned to benefit. If you're interested in participating, the link is in the description. Beamable has proven that Deepin infrastructure means dependable service, fair compensation, and genuine scalability. Gaming is outgrowing the current infrastructure that's out there, and Beamable's distributed network is the path forward. Last week's AWS outage was a preview of why Deepin isn't just a nice to have anymore. If you found value in this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel to stay tuned. And remember, this video is for educational purposes only and is not financial advice. Always do your own research before making any moves. Again, the link to secure your Beamable checker node through Helium Deploy is down in the description below, and you can use code FireHustle for 10% off. Stay safe out there and let's keep stacking wins. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.